Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, the podcast. I have breaking news. We have a shill alert. I'm just letting everyone know now at the front of the episode. I'm about to say positive things about MLB The Show 25. I know, sue me. But for every time we're negative and often warranted, I believe that we should also be positive when positivity is warranted, because that is how constructive feedback and fair feedback works. So, without further ado, we're about to talk about the Moonshot program and how it was pretty damn good. And calling it a program isn't even fair because it was kind of like a whole takeover of Diamond Dynasty. So, let's get cracking. We will do a team update later on in the episode. We'll talk more about it. But there was stuff that happened on Friday, and it was good stuff, and it was refreshing. Let's start there. SDS was coming off like a 2-ish week period, really a little longer, but it heightened in those 2 weeks, where there was some distaste for the cards being dropped. There was, or it was becoming very apparent, the attribute manipulation to make the chase cards light years better versus the free cards much worse. And it was getting pretty loud. So I don't know if the Moonshot content looked as good as it ended up looking in response to that, or just maybe it was planned to be this way anyway. I don't know. And truthfully, I don't really, that's not worth thinking about. I don't care much about that. But the Moonshot takeover was just really smart. It was well executed. The cards are fun. It shows they know how to build fun cards. And it's set to reshape lineups for a little bit. And that's what we needed. We needed content drops to reshape lineups. Because if you're somebody who doesn't have collections done, or who doesn't have Scott Rowland, and there's nothing wrong with that, but if you don't have those done, you now have real options to play in certain positions that you didn't have before, because they built cards smart. So there was a program, as I said, very easy to complete. It came with 2 packs in the program. We're going to go over all of the cards after I kind of walk through what the content looked like, so don't worry, we're going to go through the cards. But there were plenty of cards in here. There was tons of XP. It's also 5 times PXP for home runs, which is super creative and neat. Like, just doing things a fun, smart way. And that's all we ask for, right? These packs are appreciated. I don't quite understand. I guess it's just different players between the full moon and eclipse pack. And I think there's crescent moon packs as well. Brian Roberts being the end boss of the end goal of the program. Everyone likes Brian Roberts seemingly, except for me. I'm not a big fan of his cards normally, but neither here nor there. So there was a program. Got it. Check. There's a new mini season with a Tony Gwynn in it. All right, cool. Check. Another thing to do with a worthwhile reward. I would say of the 3 mini seasons with individual card rewards, that is the most worthwhile so far. The CC ended up not being great and wasn't used a ton. This Chris Bryant is by no means a bad card. I just don't think it's like truly worth your time. It's not a bad card. It's good for Cubs players for sure. I like Chris Bryant cards. I'm not dissing this one. I'm just saying I don't think it really fits in right now. Or when it came out, did it fit in? It was worth it. I keep going back and forth. I'm sorry. It was worth it, however, because it was a standout card, and you needed the standout card to collect Scott Rowland. Moving on. But this Tony Gwynn is actually very good. Spoiler alert, he is my God Squad right fielder right now. Spoiler alert. So there's a mini season. There is also an event that is Moonshot. So it's just a Moonshot event. Any hitters, common pitchers. That's, whatever. There's no rewards anymore in events, but still a Moonshot event. And then a new Diamond Quest with 4 card rewards. Ironically, the rare rewards are the commons, because you need better pitching in Moonshot, and Nolan Ryan and Darren O'Day are pretty okay, even as commons. They quick sell for 1,000 stubs a pop, so that's 2,000 stubs right there. And as of time of recording, which is Sunday at 11:45 a.m., both of the epic rewards, I realize I just said that backwards. The rare ones are the easy ones to get. Don't mind me. But as of Sunday at 11:45 a.m., whatever, They're like 15 to 18K, the epic rewards. So not bad. It's a decently, what's the word I'm looking for? Worthwhile grind. I don't know why that disconnected there, but we're back. This controller, my port on the controller has not been great lately. So, again, ranting. Good content drop all around because there's stuff to do. We always just want stuff to do. And what I liked, if we could just go back to the program, speaking of stuff to do, it was no missions, or moments rather. It was no moments. It was all go play the game. Go do stuff in the Moonshot event. Go do stuff anywhere else in Diamond Dynasty. Go do stuff online, offline, whatever you want. Places to do things. Super dope. If you wanted to expedite it, which I did just by collecting some of these cheaper guys, you collect 6 of the guys that you need anyway to get Buxton, and it's 30 XP or 30 experience towards the thing, 30 stars. If you wanted to collect all of them at once, you could finish the program in 5 seconds. If you wanted to, and you had the stub capital, your prerogative, play your way, finish the program your way, you could collect, it ends up being 10 cards and get 100 program stars. I like that. I didn't do that because I'm stub poor currently, because I had to buy Willie Castro, but I enjoy different ways to finish things, letting people play the game, not just doing moments and beat the piss out of the CPU missions. Like, this was a well-built program. And now on to the cards. What I liked that they did about the cards is that they recognized that a lot of these guys are unplayable in their normal built state. Sorry, I was trying to phrase that. I would say of this drop, 50% of the cards are like power hitters, like known power hitters, or at least enough pop, and the other 50% are guys you wouldn't think to hit the ball over the fence. But what they did was I think they just understand that these guys don't play without power. And I know that's not fair to somebody like Tony Gwynn. We'll use Tony Gwynn as a perfect example. People who are super traditionalists will not like that Tony Gwynn is basically he is a power hitter. He's a power hitter on this card. He could put the ball over the fence. Traditionalists won't like that. And I'm not necessarily saying they're wrong. But with the way the game's hitting engine is currently built, players like Tony Gwynn, if built the way they should be, like 110 contact and 40 power versus both sides, ballpark, that's just an estimate, are not going to see playing time because everything they hit is a queef. Contact hitters in this game, like actual contact hitters versus balanced or power hitters, don't have the exit velocity. They don't drive the ball when it's in the air. They hit a lot of line drives, which results in a lot of outs. The game is not built appropriately for those type of hitters. But by recognizing that and giving some of these guys a little power while sacrificing some other things, it actually makes them usable. And we're going to see some lineup variety and some player variety because we're going to see guys we don't normally see because we usually just brush them to the side. So let's go through the cards from top to bottom. Because what I like is that there are useful guys here. Even if they aren't God Squad starters, they have utility. So you've got your commons for pitching in the Moonshot event. Really nothing to see here. LOL, Jose Alvarado, 5 minutes before I started recording, got hit with an 80 game suspension for PEDs. LOL. 2 silvers from the mini season. Nothing to report here. Now we talk about the real guys. Colt Keith. Reverse splits, high clutch. He's a guy who's got some positional versatility. He's a bench piece at worst or at best, but he's not a bad card. Joey Ortiz, massive power left. One of the worst ones in the drop, but that would make sense because he's one of the worst diamonds dropped, and he's only 3,500 stubs. Zach Neto, we have a bench bat. We have a legitimate bench bat here. A left-handed pitching killer. He can't field. Most of these guys cannot field, and most of them cannot run. Those are the 2 things that were nerfed the most to boost power and their hitting attributes. But 97 clutch is not great. It's also not terrible. And 125 contact left, 90 power left. They nerfed discipline on these cards. Pretty good. You don't need discipline. Try to argue with me again. I don't know why you people think you can argue with me. You can argue with me. Please tell me your opinions. But I was right because discipline means nothing. Durability 97 is still funny. We don't need durability on these cards, but whatever. We'll take our small victories where we can get them. I think you pronounce his name Helio, Elliot, Mr. Ramos. dynasty keeper of mine in fantasy baseball. One of the better cards in the drop. He is a bench bat for me. He's on my God Squad on the bench because he has 105 clutch, 125 contact left, 115 power left, and a really sweet, easy swing. It's small sample size, but in 5 plate appearances, 3 at-bats, he's got a double, 3 hits, and 2 sac flies. So he's hitting 1,000. I like him a lot. He's a very good bench piece. He pairs nicely with Tony Gwynn. If Tony Gwynn faces a tough lefty late in the game, I pinch hit with Heliot Ramos, and then I put a defensive replacement in the outfield because I am not playing 50 fielding in the outfield. Andy Paje, similar to Zach Neto. The clutch is just worse. So he is a bench bat because he's got max contact left, but 76 clutch is not good. So you're going to want to bring him in when no one's on base, or no one's in scoring position, rather. Joey Bart, same. A absolute bench killer of lefties. If you have a lefty catcher, and I don't really know who that would be. Probably just someone who has reverse or poor platoon splits. Joey Bart might be a decent option for you off the bench. Again, 77 clutch isn't incredible, and his fielding's bad, so you're going to have to carry a third catcher to field. It's kind of a rough situation, but this Joey Bart card can hit the shit out of the ball, legitimately. Maybe he's more of a platoon with your left-handed hitting DH. That's probably the better play. Like if you're DHing a David Ortiz or someone of that vein, Joey Bart might make sense, but as a catcher, it's rough with that defense. Alan Trammell, I mean, he's not bad. He's one of the worst cards in the drop. Harmon Killebrew is built like every Harmon Killebrew card. Unfortunately, they just don't play in Diamond Dynasty. Jesus Sanchez, kind of a boring vanilla right fielder, lefty stick. JJ Bleday, similar. Some of these 87s are not great, but largely these cards were smartly built. Jose Siri, this is one of the weirder Moonshot cards because they didn't completely tank his fielding and speed. So you'll see on, spoiler alert, Friday's video, I used the Moonshot team for how to pitch with, or not how to pitch with, in-game manager. And Jose Siri, despite not being the best offensive center fielder of the Moonshot cards, I played him because I needed his defense. This card will have its uses. It's going to be a BR nightmare, a killer in BR. That's another thing I like about this drop is it floods the BR draft with more different type of guys, including the common pitchers and the silver pitchers. Just all around very smart. Michael Bush, he's pretty balanced. He's not terrible. And he's one of the better fielders, actually, at base 68 fielding. He's just kind of whatever. He's first base or DH only, but there are far better options in all of those places. Josh Smith is an example of a guy that otherwise never would get a card that could be used, but he has a good swing. If you've ever used a Josh Smith, I believe he was supercharged last year at one point. Really nice swing, actually. Plays a lot of positions. Balanced hitter. 100 clutch actually makes him better than both of his contacts, and that's nice to see. Listen, a fun little card. A fun little card. And he is from the program, so he's free. I think people might use this guy. Honestly, as a budget third baseman, a bench bat, like he's not that bad. JP Crawford, anybody who knows he has one of the categorically best swings in the game. Hands down, bar none, top 6 to 7 to 8 swing in the game. It's incredible. This card is a little disappointing. Very balanced hitter, nothing wrong with that. The 111 discipline, or 110 discipline, I guess, because I have him P1, just really bothers me. Because we could have taken a little bit away from that and thrown a little bit extra in the fielding and maybe a little bit extra in the vision. And then we've got ourselves a starting shortstop. But you cannot this year play a shortstop with that fielding. 65 fielding to start, and 65 reaction to start, and 45 fielding, and 57 arm. Like, you just can't. You get burned this year really badly if your middle infield stinks. But JP Crawford, fun BR guy, for sure. Maybe even a DH for some people. His swing is elite. Dalton Varsho, the definition of a BR guy, but there's nothing wrong with that. Incredible in the field. For Moonshot, he's an 85. I think his live series is actually a 99 fielder. Primary center field with 69 speed is not my favorite, and 68 arm is not my favorite, but still a good swing, a fun little card, good for the Blue Jays fans, good for team builds. Now we get into the juicy stuff, because now we're getting into the good 89s. This Luis Arias rakes, and you'll see on Friday. He is a DH exclusively. First base defense at a 53 is even scary. You're not playing him at second. You're not playing him at third with 40 arm strength and 60 reaction. But you give a Luis Ariz card with that type of swing, this type of power, 81 and 78, with 89 vision, and his clutch is higher than both his contacts. This is a well-built card. This is fun. Look at his discipline, 45 or 44. Durability, 88. Still too high, but not 99. Like, this card was built with intentionality. That's all I'm asking for, is intentionality. Mason Wynn. I declare this in Friday's video, and I'm going to declare it now in the past, in the behind. You know, I've already recorded. I recorded backwards this week. Mason Wynn is a budget shortstop that is worth your time. He's even a budget second baseman. I just said I don't like low fielding at shortstop. But Mason Wynn at 67 fielding base does also have 90 arm strength that makes up for some of it. And 74 speed also helps to make up for some of that. 69 reaction, very nice, but not actually. I think I'd rather play him at second. Seems like a waste of his arm, but that's okay. This guy has an elite swing and rakes. I will do a little teaser here. I'm not going to necessarily tell you how I performed in the game or games, maybe two, we played on Friday. But online with this Mason Wynn card, I'm hitting 500 over 12 at-bats with 5 home runs. Some of that's on Hall of Fame. This card's good. This card is good. He is a budget middle infield option for you, and I mean that in all seriousness. Kerry Carpenter. Strictly a bench bat, but not a bad one. He does what you need a bench bat to do, and that's one thing really well. And in this case, Kerry Carpenter's one thing is crushing a right-handed pitcher. Also has 107 clutch. So it's not much worse than his 109 contact. So either way, he is viable if you can trap a right-handed pitcher. If you can't trap him and you have to face a lefty, you're in deep duty shoes because he's not that good versus lefties. But he's very good versus righties. Bryce Terang. This is one of the worst 89s just because in real life, by his very nature, Bryce Terang is a fielder with speed. So this card is kind of stinky caca. I suppose it's a little balanced. He's got an okay swing. They, again, nerfed the discipline to put stuff in other places. He's fine. He's not my favorite. Probably one of the worst 89s, if not the worst. But, you know, he's still there. Sean Murphy. I suppose a budget catcher card. I actually played somebody in Friday's video who used the Sean Murphy card. He's okay. I think he's a stepping stone to the actual catcher in this program that you want, but it's, you know, whatever. Jason Giambi, a worse Kerry Carpenter in that his sole job is to hit a righty. He's not as bad versus lefties, but really his job is to hit a righty. He's kind of a throwaway guy. Jesse Winker, again, he's Kerry Carpenter, but maybe actually a little better. You get him from the miniseason. He has a nice swing. We all know that. And what's different about this card fielding-wise is that even though his fielding's bad, his arm strength and arm accuracy are very, very good. But his reaction and speed stink. So I don't think you want to play him in the field. If it's an absolute emergency, I suppose you can try. But he is there to do one thing, and that's come off the bench and hit a right-handed pitcher. He also has pinch-hitting quirk. And bad ball hitter and breaking ball hitter. And fighter, which is good for the 9th inning, and unfazed hitting. He is like the prototypical pinch hitter. It's perfect. Bob Clemente, Roberto. This is where realism, again, gets thrown out the window. We have seen Roberto Clemente cards with power like this before, mostly versus the left-handed pitchers. So 93 power left, 100 contact left, and 105 clutch. We like that. Pretty okay versus righties as well, 90 contact, 81 power. Roberto Clemente is supposed to have a hose piece for an arm. He only has 86 here because of the way these cards are built. 52 speeds, a little on the slower end. 78 fielding is on the slower end. So you sacrifice realism. This card is kind of bland. I don't think he's excellent. I think when we do get a big-time Roberto Clemente later in the year, he will be excellent. This one is just kind of whatever. Now we get to the expensive boys. This Bo Bichette is nuts. Nuts. 120 clutch, max contact left, 100 power left, excuse me. So he is one of the best bats in the game against left-handed pitching. Against righties, not bad. 101 contact, 88 power, that will play. 88 vision, or 85 vision. They nerfed the discipline to 55 because you don't need it. The problem is he is a cinder block at shortstop, which is kind of similar to real life. I think his defense has gotten a little bit better in real life. I don't mean to take pot shots at the Blue Jays. Pete Alonso's rocking as my DH, and I'm totally fine with that because I killed pitchers with Pete Alonso, but this is the type of card that could replace him there. The problem is he's 150K. He is one of the gatekeepers to the Byron Buxton overall collection. The other gatekeeper is Heimer Candelario, who is super balanced, 80 vision, 94 clutch is a little disappointing, but it doesn't really hurt him too much here. Can't field, so he's really a DH again, unless you don't have collections done, and then he could be a first baseman for you, but he's 160K. There are two gatekeepers, really, I guess 3 gatekeepers if you count the chase card. We'll get there. And they're all expensive. Jock Peterson, the best bench bat in the drop. 116 clutch, 110 contact right, 118 power right, and against lefties, he's not bad. 89 contact left, 95 power left. If the clutch kicks in, it's 116 contact left and 195 power left. He's good. He is a DH or a bench bat. I mean, he's really good. The fielding is horseshit, as it often is with Jock Peterson cards. So this card's pretty realistic, if we're being honest. This is a really, really good card. Lou Brock, another one who suffers here. Lou Brock has such a good swing. Giving him more power will help make him more playable. The problem is you're sacrificing his speed. Typical Lou Brock cards have this type of fielding, 74, 75 field. Like, this is not out of the ordinary. But 75 speed, he's like one of the fastest human beings ever to play baseball. And this card is supposed to be representative of when he was 28 years old. I don't think his speed was declining at 28 years old. So a little disappointing. Kind of ruins the charm of a Lou Brock card, especially for people who like to bunt. He only has 35 bunt. Please don't bunt. But, a little disappointing. But still, it's fun. There's going to be a lot of people's catchers if you don't have Carlos Santana, or you're bored of Ted Simmons, or you're just a killer of cards with Yasmani Grandal. High power, good clutch. This clutch makes both his contacts better. The vision's all right. 85 fielding for one of these cards is excellent. Your problem that you're going to have is he has 13 speed. But if you are a user of Yasmani Grandal cards, that shouldn't be a deterrent to you because you know this already. Prince Fielder just stinks, man. I am so not a fan of Prince Fielder's swing. He has arm through the titty syndrome. This card really does nothing well, which is unfortunate. Harrison Bader, actually a fun little card. Good fielder in left field. Nothing wows you, but his swing is actually better than I ever thought it was. I don't know, did they change his swing, or maybe I just had an epiphany. His swing is nice. The budget left fielder. I will see people using this card in left field. Left field's a little weak right now if you don't have Brian Reynolds. I'm actually moving off of Brian Reynolds. We'll talk about that shortly. Good card. Good card. As I said, Tony Gwynn, my new God Squad right fielder. His elite type of swing and bat speed with power and clutch. What you don't have is high vision. Usually he has like 100 plus vision. He's only got 82 at base. The fielding and the arm strength are not very good. Usually he has a good arm, and the speed is a little on the low end. But these are the sacrifices you make to have a Tony Gwynn that can hit. Then Brian Roberts, he's Brian Roberts, and built pretty much like Brian Roberts. The only thing I'd argue is that he's slower than he normally is, but, again, that's the whole point of these cards. This Carlos Delgado is really, really, really friggin' good. He is a DH candidate without question. He could play first for you if you're looking for a fresh start at first base. Vision being only a 62 is not terrible. I wish it was better, but it's not bad. 90 clutch is what bothers me most about this card, but the ball just jumps. It leaps. I don't even know the word. It triple jumps off his bat. In 13 online at-bats, I'm hitting 462 with 2 homers, 2 doubles. The ball flies off this man's bat. Then you have the big collection. It's Byron Buxton. You sacrifice some fielding because he is an electric fielder. 84 speed is a little on the low end. 90 durability is hysterical because I love Byron Buxton. This man is never on the field. So this is an instance in which durability is poorly placed, just up and down. But they tanked his discipline. 70 vision for a Buxton card is not bad. 100 clutch basically keeps his contacts the same. And the ball flies off at his bat, too. The problem is he's playing center field or nowhere because he has no secondaries. I think you could play him in the corner. It will be something I experiment with when I get him, because I think he's going to be fine. And then the chase card, Cedric Mullins. Ironically, this is one of, like, the least worthwhile cards, because for the price you pay, 155,000 stubs, this card does nothing for you. I'd rather just save up double the amount and get Willie Castro. That's actually a game-changing card. This card's whatever. But up and down, like, just a really good, there are at least 10 to 12 useful in some capacity cards in this drop. And honestly, that's hard for SDS to do sometimes, because it's not the case. So I'm happy with this. And we'll end with, like, giving you guys where my team is at right now. We talked about doing team updates. Let's do one. I've taken Brian Reynolds out. You'll see in Thursday's How to Pitch With video that he was still in the lineup. I'm just kind of struggling with him at the plate, and his fielding lets me down in that game. Let's just leave it there. You guys will watch and see. So we have Corbin Carroll here for now. I don't like Corbin Carroll's swing normally, but when I was playing with him offline against the CPU in the mini season, I know it's against the computer. I was just starting to get in a flow with his swing. I think I started to, like, feel out his leg lift, his load. So we're going to try. He's not good against lefties, but again, I have Helio Ramos on the bench. He can fly, he can field. We're going to give him a shot. Playing right field, as I said, is now Tony Gwynn. I have determined that Willie Castro is just fine at second base. Probably like 80% of what I would want a second baseman to be. Like, he's fine. No changes on the left side, though. For some reason, Bobby Witt has started to not hit the ball. Makes me upset. Scott Rowland's at third. Pete Alonso's DHing until I get Bo. But even then, Pete might stay. I mean, this Pete, I think 397, mostly Hall of Fame with Pete. He's nuts. There's something about his swing. I am in sync with his swing. Carlos Santana catching rather. I actually can't wait to not have Carlos Santana. 317 for me with a card is, like, not awesome. I don't know. I feel like he doesn't lift the ball. He hits a lot of low line drives, and they're all outs in this game. If you hit a line drive, it's an out. Is that also your experience? Maybe not. The bench has evolved just a little with Ramos and Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman is there to spell Willie Castro for defense, so I get a real second baseman playing there. No changes to the rotation. The bullpen has got a couple upgrades. Danny Kaloum, we had to spend a lot of stubs to get him, but he is as advertised. We were using the gold version, so of course we're using this one. And then in the XP path, I got to my first boss pack, and I took Eric Gagne for the pitching help. My next selection will probably be Bernie Williams, and I think Bernie will actually replace Ramos. As much as I like Ramos, Bernie being a switch hitter is just inherently more helpful, and he's a little bit better in the field if I get caught in an emergency. But that's where we're at, guys. A good content drop. We had fun playing the game. Coming up this week on the 20th, which actually might be the day you're listening to this, is the drop 2 of the multiplayer program. Team Affinity is coming on Friday. I will be out of town for work from Thursday through Monday, so stick with me on content next week. We'll see what goes on. But Friday is a Team Affinity update and a roster update, so get your roster predictions in. All right? Okay. That's it. Fun podcast. Enjoy the fun content. Remember, we have to praise things when they're good. So when we do criticize things, there's merit to it. We just got to be fair. I have been very critical of the game. I have been. A lot of people have been. But we have to praise it when it does something right. And this was something right. So that's where I stand. Thank you guys for being here. Love you all. See you next time.